Welcome to another episode of the Flashing Badger podcast. I'm your host, Gordon. Joining me again are Mike.
Hey, I'm Mike.
Wegs.
Hey, it's Wegs.
And Fitz.
Fitz is back.
Last week, you left us leaving an orc fort on a desolate jungle world where the three Imperial Guardsmen in front of me are desperately trying to escape before an imminent orbital bombardment glasses the entire planet. We rejoin them just as they emerge into the light from an orc scrap fort. Let's see how they go on this week's episode of Only War. Flashing Badger. Okay, so as we talked about last episode, you've just managed to kill an orc patrol and emerged into the light from the scrap fort where you were holed up. Wounded men from your platoon are still left inside, and Sergeant Dryak is guarding them. As it is, once the patrol's clear, he catches up to you. Listen, we need to come up with a plan for the wounded. We need to find our way down. As you know, we're going to have to go down the same way we came up, the switchback climb. And you can see from the exit of the orc fort that there's abandoned trenches in front of you. There's the short route to the top of the switchback climb, which is a steep goat track style descent leading down. But the trenches in front of you are a massive system that's laid out where the fighting was going on last night. And as far as from where you can see, there's no one left. Your company is gone. No one is there anymore. You can see the burnt out remains of Chimera troop transports. You can see human and orc corpses around. And as the wounded emerge into the light, getting dragged out, Sergeant Drake wants to know, what's your next move? Talk to me about your plan. How you, the only way home is through that switchback climb. What are you going to do with the wounded?
Ogrins can lift.
We can.
Shanada! Is there any value within Only War to scavenge weapons, bullets, things like that?
I'm really glad you asked. Yeah, you can definitely scavenge. You can replenish all of your ammo and grenades from the dead in front of you.
I think maybe I might do a little bit of that, considering thinking about how to get out of stuff isn't really my forte. So
okay,
the plans can be come up with Ramirez and Cole.
Excellent. So Shanadar the Ogren is doing that while Helena Ramirez, the weapons
Helena.
Helena, and Cole, the weapons specialist, are coming up with a plan with Sergeant Dryak. So you two better talk to me about what's going on. Feel free to ask him any questions, of course.
Scout maneuvering seemed to work for us last time. We get ahead, clear the path.
You're certainly not built for lifting, big man. So maybe we get Shanada doing the heavy lifting.
That's precisely what I'm thinking. I've been in the gym, okay? I'm taking a protein supplements. I'm doing all right. You just worry about yourself there.
The gymnatorium.
The very same.
So Sergeant Dryak, it's like he pulls you aside and he says, listen, before you go too far, remember the 17th Regiment's positions would have been just a short distance away. These Chimeras are wrecked, but there's a good chance there's transport we can use there. If you want to make your way over there, I'll stay here with the wounded, but I think that's going to be our best way out.
Shannon's right.
I have no issue walking through this jungle, but if these precious people need armoured tracks to carry them, then that's what we'll do.
Okay. So
Ramirez, just to clarify, when you say these precious people, do you mean the people with gunshot wounds from the...
I don't mean the wounded, I meant my offsiders.
I'd just like to say that despite my hulking figure, Shanadar is slightly hurt by your passive-aggressive tone.
You're very fragile. You're not keen to get into close combat.
Up.
For an ogren.
I tried to last time, and I know stuff.
you tried to by planting your feet and standing perfectly still.
And throwing a grenade.
Such a calculated ogren.
Yeah. Right, so around you, like I say, there's these orc bodies, there's crashed Valkyrie dropship, there's burnt out chimeras, but you know that just north of your position here, just on the other side of the path that leads down to the switchback climb, is the position of the 17th. And you can hear the ongoing whine of orc fighter bombers going overhead with their rough engines and distant artillery bombardments from what must be guard positions.
I raise my flamethrower to that 45-degree angle and give it the... I'm going to go, the 17th Regiment's this way, let's go.
I see everyone walking that way, and I just follow them.
Kicking rocks as
Oh,
you go.
you're looking down while we walk.
You know, just walking along. Big head.
Shanadar made decisions too. Shanadar.
So many decisions.
Pick up a daisy that I see on the ground and put it behind my ear, and then off I go.
Yeah, leaving the wounded hidden behind in the trenches, you move on. Sergeant Dryak is there, and as you're leaving, Dryak says, "Listen, might be lots more orcs out there. Just keep a low profile. Keep it quiet."
Ramirez.
I call back as loud as I possibly can. Okay.
With his huge hulking physique of a profile.
So, Sergeant Dryk's like hands over ears, cringing.
Oh, Shanadar picks up a rock and puts it on the top of his helmet and says, Shanadar camouflaged.
And as you say it, your big booming voice, there's distant birds that leave a tree.
Come out of a tree, yeah.
I'll get you to give me an agility test from everyone, or one person can be your point man. If everyone's going to do it, you're going to get a plus 20. If it's going to be just one person, you're going to get a plus nothing. But if there's anything else you want to do to create some kind of distraction, or to disguise yourselves, or to camouflage, or something like that, if there's something you can come up with, I can give you bonuses.
I have an existing stealth skill, which gives me plus 10.
Woof. Okay.
So I'm keen for us all to do it because then I get the plus 20 and the plus 10.
Sure.
Okay. All right, so if you don't have the stealth skill on your character sheet there, then you will have to just use your agility score.
Having said that, if I'm the lone person to do it, do I get the plus 20 as well, or just this plus 10?
No, you'll get just that plus 10. Like I say, if there's some other clever plan you want to come up with, I'll give you some more points.
I mean, well,
I'm great at creating distractions using the local flora.
Mm-hmm.
There's like these tall bamboo almost looking sticks. But I know these because we have them back on other worlds as well that I've ventured to. And you can create a long like whoop, 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 sort of thing on it. And I'm going to use it with one sort of splayed in the middle and one to launch it. And it just creates a noise distraction is how we used to use them when hunting game. Is you would fire one over the direction of where you want in this great big parabola, just creating a ruckus of a noise. Usually a good 40 to 50 meters I can hurl one of these.
Okay. You're going to be set to do that as you go, or you're going to deploy one as you leave? What's that?
It's just a one and done, and I just give it a whoosh as we step off, just to create a noise distraction away from us.
What would be, given there's orc bombers flying overhead, what would be the value in that?
Well, that was just purely for ground troops and sentries to look in the wrong direction.
I don't think you can. Really mitigate your risk of a strafing run. I think your biggest issue is getting spotted by a sentry at this point.
Okay.
I'm guessing I didn't find anything of value in the search.
You did. You've
You found a Baneblade tank.
You've all managed to refill your ammo and grenades.
Nice.
I'm sure you've come carrying a whole bunch of, incompatible calibers and a few decapitated orc heads and things as you come back. But
Does do I have any knowledge about if covering myself with orc juice make me less smellable or visible to the enemy?
That is a
you know what?
Shanadar move.
If Shanadar wants to cover himself in orc guts, I think that's probably going to help him.
What's your hygiene stat?
My soap stat. Yeah, maybe I'll do a bit of that. Put a bit on the armor and the smell and that, just to get rid of it.
You can take any of the orc armor?
Well, if there's orc armor there,
Well,
absolutely.
I
I do actually love a bit of scrap armor. So
it's going to have very similar stats to your current armor. I'll give you the tip, but it might help you blend in.
Maybe I'll
they
do
might
that.
just think you're some kind of orc boss of some description.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay, no worries. So what I want you to do then is each give me a stealth or an agility test as you make your way, and we'll see how successful you are at sneaking to the 17th position just north of you.
I have a 16. I have passed.
Excellent.
I required a 31.
Fitz, I've got a 33 to pass, and I've got a 26, so I pass.
Excellent. I was going to give you a plus 10 bonus for your very clever disguise as well. So
I have a 67, well over the 46 required with my plus 10.
would you like to let your friends down, or would you like to use one of your 2 fate points?
Yeah, I think it's a fate point moment.
Already on the fate.
I feel like it's necessary. And thank God it is. I've rolled a 92 over the 36 required.
All right.
Good use of a fate point there.
So a stumbling mess as you go through, absolutely, bounding through the foliage, creating this massive ruckus as you tumble down a small incline.
I've seen Ramirez mucking around with bamboo sticks, like accidentally whacking herself in the face. I'm looking over at Shanadar, slathering himself in orc bits. And I'm so distracted and disappointed that this is what the Imperium has come to, that I trip over my own feet and make a much louder and more obvious noise than both of those two put together.
Distracted by all of this success.
Envious, dripping with envy.
We're just looking at him going, I wish he wouldn't wear his tap shoes on these missions.
So as you start moving through to the north, the foliage, you make this massive ruckus, and you see an orc commando come scurrying out the bush, lay eyes on you, and flee directly back to the northeast. Disappears into the undergrowth. He's gone before you can even raise a weapon. You know this is going to cause you issues later on.
Not a great commando if we saw him.
So you continue. I think he fell out the tree in shock that somebody made so much noise.
You woke him up.
Yeah.
So
He was in a hammock. And yeah.
I mean, they spell commandos wrong for a start, so I'm not even sure what their qualifications are. But so you make your way up to the 17th position, which is a short walk away, and from where it is, it's on a slightly exposed plateau, and you can see in the teaming, you can see thronging with orc bodies, and you can tell that this is going to be a heavy force that's going to be moving this way. This is going to be an untenable spot to be in the next hour or so. You come across their landing zone, and you can see that there's a Valkyrie dropship left parked there that's got damage to one of its intake fans, one of its wings, sort of sitting a bit askew on its landing gear. It's the kind of thing that looks repairable for a short flight, but it's going to require someone with some technical skill to have a look at it. And you do see a short distance away a nosed-in, crashed orc fighter bomber, which has got some damage to it, but it looks to you like there's some salvageable parts there that you would be able to use. Or you can continue into the body of the 17th camp and see if there's any survivors.
Do any of you guys have any sort of technical nous that you could use to fix these ships?
Not well enough to repair Imperial airships.
No, I've got nothing.
No.
Other than strength of slapping some panels together, I certainly wouldn't have the aptitude of repairing electronics.
Don't trust.
I'm only halfway through my PhD in mechanical engineering.
Really? Sorry, I didn't even consider you were
not really confident.
So this is going to be a difficult test, but you know that if you were to get the parts from the orc bomber, you would have some sort of advantage to it. But given that there's no ability whatsoever, it sounds like it's going to be too difficult for you. Is that your thought?
I don't think we have the time to teach ourselves repairing Imperial airships.
If you two aren't confident, I think we push further into the compound and look for something better.
Yep.
Okay.
I don't think we're the type of unit that's really all about the smart way of doing things.
So as you move past the Valkyrie and you move into the 17th sort of camp proper, you can see it's all knocked over tents, ripped, flaming remnants. There's corpses everywhere, orc and human. There's tipped over and damaged vehicles. There's more burnt out chimeras. It looks to you like there is nothing salvageable. But as you step into the body of the camp over a wrecked tent, you can hear the faint hum of a Vox unit coming from underneath one of the collapsed tents.
I will die on this world. I cannot tell where this conviction comes from. Whatever birthed it is a mystery to me, and yet the thought clings like a virus, blooming behind my eyes and taking deep root within my mind. It almost feels real enough to spread corruption to the rest of my body, like a true sickness. A true hero cannot afford to succumb to illness, which is why I, Reclusiarch, use and trust Emperor's Own Get Well's Reach lozenges. I need to be performing at my best, and so do you. I am wrath incarnate. I will not die on this world. I'm getting healthier overnight.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Imperial citizens across the galaxy, an all-new adventure from Inquisitech Toys. It's the Imperial Bureaucrat Play Set. Now you too can pretend to be part of the greatest bureaucracy ever generated by humanity. Just imagine yourself doing your part for the glorious Eternal War effort. Or picture yourself partaking in various workplace morale-boosting events.
Your allocated caffeine reuptake break has now commenced.
Hey, Steve, do you want to grab a cup
Your
of coffee?
allocated caffeine reuptake break has now ceased. Return to your duties immediately.
As you sit with your playset, imagine yourself as a vital cog in the glorious war machine of mankind.
Should have signed up for the guard. At least I'd be dead by now.
Ha ha ha! Thanks, nameless Imperial citizen! Buy your Imperial Bureaucrat playset today. And as we like to say here at Inquisitech Toys, I'm not a heretic, please don't kill me.
In the Imperium of Man, heresy-based offences are considered especially heinous. In the Inquisition, the dedicated warriors of the Order Medeus and their chamber militant are known as the Space Marines of the Grey Knights. These are their stories.
So as you make your way past one of these collapsed tents, you hear the hissing static of Vox chatter going off. What are you going to do?
Gonna have a look in the tent from whence the Vox chatter is coming.
Sounds like a good plan. So you lift up the fallen canvas there, and you find, sure enough, an undamaged Vox unit chirping and chattering away. You can tell instantly that this is it's an upgraded model. It's a model that would usually sit at the firebase or at the staging point and not go out. So this is likely to have a bit more power than the backpack-mounted one that you had in the tunnels in the forge. Anyone like to use them?
Yep. I grab the transmitter. Any call sign? We need evac. We have 4 seriously wounded and 1 heavy weapons expert with a real crap attitude.
I hope he did this all over the tone of someone else is
Very
talking.
interesting. And sure enough, you get back, you hear from, divisional command or whatever, you hear that.
That unit advise of your position.
Yeah, we're just in the teaming outside the
17th Regiment.
17th Regiment base camp. Over. How are you? Thank you. One minor shot there.
There's a pause for 4 or 5 seconds, and you hear.
We have no evac capability at this stage. We advise you make your way out on foot.
Copy that. Any air support? We may have stumbled across an Orc commando outpost or scouting party. We may need serious air ordnance shortly.
And there's a longer delay this time, and
All evac flights are for high-ranking personnel only. None available for you at this point.
They might not realise that we have Commissar Jones with us.
Oh,
shut it up!
do you want to? You can run that down the radio if you'd like.
I'm talking to Cole, who has the radio, so none of this is open air at the moment. I'm pitching some ideas. And some of the ideas I'm giving you is, hey, Cole, have they got an evac point we can get to? Because they're saying here's not suitable. Or maybe we tell them there's someone important with us and they'll come get us.
The second point will get us put against a wall and shot for treason. The first point, not a bad idea. Let me raise it.
Is a future fate up against the wall better than a current death from Navy bombardment? And who's to say the state of bedlam it's in? Who's to say that anyone will be recording or know this?
We are the Imperium. We are the good guys. We don't lie over the radio.
All communications are recorded.
I just want to say this
For quality assurance and training purposes.
You've got a man who's a stickler for the rules, and someone here who's a bit of a loose cannon. So I don't know if this is a conversation you want to have before you make a decision. But
I think what he's saying is I should be on the radio. Is there another force closer by which we could link up with?
Let's make those inquiries before we stumble across Commissar Jones.
Surely Commissar Jones is high-ranking enough to...
Well, commissars are outside the rank structure.
I love that you're like, there's a commissar here.
Yeah, all right. Sit me down back there. I'm communicating. Stand by. Wait, what was your first point again? Sorry. Oh, yeah, the evac point. Yeah, Command, is there a point we can get to where you can provide us evac? We have several important personnel who need to get out of here.
Well, I'm doing it now.
I've got the sound effect.
He can put this in post.
Oh, yeah.
Put it in post. So they come back and they say,
We recommend Firebase Longtooth is going to be the local pickup evac point to escape from the blast radius. We can have Valkyries pick you up from there, So did I copy correctly? Is there you have senior personnel with you?
I have personnel senior to me.
Yeah, it's affirmative. You don't have to do the.
Yeah.
Sorry, Fitz.
It's like making the pew pew sound every time you fire a gun. It'll take care of that. It's not necessary.
Okay, all right.
Okay, well, if you want to make me a check, it's going to be a charm test.
Thank Christ, I have a plus 20 when it comes to charm.
Woof.
I love me some on-air charm.
Okay, roll me a charm test and let's see if you can convince.
Where is my fellowship plus 20? I'd need a 49.
Yep.
And I've rolled a... I have rolled a 49.
49.
Yes.
Excellent. Ooh. Okay, so the call comes back and it's like, you've obviously told a cock and bull story about having senior personnel with you.
Senior to me.
Have you flat lied or have you just sort of skirted the truth?
I've skirted the truth. They said senior. I said, yeah, senior to me. Absolutely. I didn't say that. I just agreed. I agreed with what I thought was the truth.
This will survive a review.
The Inquisition's pretty lenient with that.
Yeah, generous.
So,
this isn't Inquisition level.
Right.
This is slap on the wrist local level.
now that you know the Valkyrie's coming, what do you want to do about? Is it your plan that you're gonna? It's on the way. Mm-hmm. So is your plan that you're going to leave in this craft, or is this going to be to assist the wounded, or
This is for the Sarge and the wounded.
Yeah,
We're going together.
I'm happy with that.
Sorry, are we getting on this Valkyrie
no,
that's
the
coming?
Valkyrie's coming. It's on the way. I'm just saying.
And we're putting the wounded on it, but we're doing something different? Is that what you
No,
guys
we're going back to get the wounded, and we're all.
Yeah, I suppose my question is: are you going back to get the wounded, or are you just going to wait for the Valkyrie and they can fend for
that's
themselves?
very funny.
It's entirely up to you. I'm not a moral arbiter here. It's your decision.
I don't even think it's a question.
I'm done with this planet.
Shanadar help little ones.
I'm with Shanadar. Come on, Shanadar, let's go save some lives.
I fall in line.
Begrudgingly.
All right, so you trek your way back to the camp where you left the hidden wounded before.
And is that where the Valkyrie's coming to?
Valkyrie's coming to the 17th, but you can fetch them back there. So you said to Sergeant Wright, you let him know that the Valkyrie's coming, and he's like, "That's exemplary work, fantastic. We're going to get off this goddamn rock." He goes American or English, depending when he's talking. It's to do with the planet he's from. And you guys lead the wounded. Shanadar, I'm sure you can carry a
Strap
couple.
a few to me.
And make your way back to the 17th, just as the Valkyrie comes in, kicking up a massive plume of dust as it does a big bank turn, the full combat landing, touches down at the landing pad there, and the canopy goes up, and the engines are in the spool down, not turned off, but in the spool down mode, and you walk up to the door. I assume it's going to be you there, Cole. The pilot's like,
Where are the officers? Get us the officers!
Some of the wounded.
You know when a kid goes quiet when they've been caught, lying or anything? That's what we all just did. We're like,
That's where you just basically point down the line
Yeah.
as everyone's walking on.
Yeah. Yes, that is actually, I'm stealing that from Ramirez. I've always liked the way she manipulated the truth to get what she needed.
so
Can I point out a lie that would probably get us out of this? They just went running off after some orcs that way. We'll load these guys on and go help them. Shanadar's doing the best he can with the tools that he has.
Grace under pressure.
So the pilot's like, listen, I've only got capacity in the back. I can take those 5 wounded, or I can take you few, not both. He says, you call me here for officers. I'm not taking, until the officers get here, I'm not taking anyone. This bird's on the ground till command tells me otherwise.
I think we tell him keep the engines warm, officers en route.
Yeah.
We'll load up the wounded now.
Yep.
And then we'll tell you to dust off. And we just pilot's not going to stop us. He can say whatever he likes, but we stand on the ramp and we start bringing the wounded up.
Yeah. Loading them on. Come with me if you want.
I've already done it.
We're going to split. No, 100% we're doing that. We're loading the wounded up. We need to get the sergeant in on this because the sergeant doesn't need to be caught unawares. So I'm going to drag the sergeant aside and go, hey, listen, this is the plan. This is the only way we're going to save these people. We need you on board. Help us manipulate the truth subtly.
So you're telling Drake you're going to load the wounded and lie about having officers, or what are you actually telling him? How much of the scheme? Because it sounds like a criminal conspiracy now.
I think we just load up the wounded and we just get them on the ship, and then there's no room for us anyway, and we'll go off and
We'll hotfoot it.
So you get them all loaded up, and you see as you walk off, having loaded them all up, and the loadmaster's like accepting of this.
The Loadmaster.
Grow up. That's what they're called. So he helps you load the back of the Valkyrie with no issue, but as you walk back past, the pilot canopy is still up, and he's like,
The hell? We're not going anywhere.
Ramirez
bird
interjects
stays on the
here
ground.
and goes, officers have already cleared out. They got retasked to something else. Take your wounded.
he's like,
No can do. Got retasked to a different flight. Gotta go pick up brass from somewhere else. Get them out of there.
I think we just step off the craft at this point and just tap on the hull, like the goodbye on the back of an ambulance.
Yep.
Because he can try and unload.
Yeah,
5.
4 or 5 wounded.
and you can see while you're having this conversation, he's on the
Being a master of loads that he may be, he's going to struggle to get 5 wounded off on his own.
He's on the.
This is why they call him the
No
Loadmaster.
regrets. I've got like 3 good puns in on that.
None of this is usable. You people.
God.
I got good use.
Yeah. So as you're talking to him and saying about the officers are run off and everything, you can see him on the intercom to the crew in the rear cabin saying,
Get them out of here. We need to clear the cargo hold.
Me and Ramirez, our eyes meet, and in that moment we agree, distraction, heighten the risk, get him the hell out of here.
I call contact left, and I put a burst of my las pistol into the foliage off the side of the runway.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm screaming about death to orcs, and I'm letting off a couple of rounds into the bush.
and Shanada
I don't know what's happening. And I see them shooting somewhere, so I shoot theirs too.
yelling,
Shut it up!
And it's like what single-handed pistol into the shrubbery, and I'm banging on the hull, and I'm like,
Go.
take off.
all right, give me let's call it an intimidate, I think, because you're trying to put the fear in him. So someone give me an intimidate test.
I'll do it.
Ooh, okay.
Have you got intimidate?
I do have Intimidate as part of my skills. I've got a...
So you have plus 20 total, yeah.
Do it.
All right, so give me an intimidate test, and let's see how that goes.
Both die?
D100, yep.
42, I failed. I rolled a 63.
Okay, you can spend a fate point to redo it if you like, because you got
don't
one.
have
You
one.
got one back at the start of this session,
Oh, did I?
so you can use that if you want, or you can try plan B or C. Sounds
use-
like about plan D at this point.
We're at plan D, so I may as well use the fate points.
Okay.
41!
Shanada!
So you see the pilot. He's like,
There's contact in the trees. Get the rear secured.
and you see the ramp starting to go up, and he's pulling the canopy down, and he's giving you the signal to get back out of the jet wash zone.
One thing you can always rely on is the cowardice of these flyboys.
And you can.
That's very eloquent,
I was about to
Shanada.
say, Shanada's. Shanada's a student of human nature. And as the ramp's closing, you see Dry there holding onto one of the overhead, straps and giving you the big salute as he leaves, with the wounded going out. Sure enough, the Valkyrie tears off into in the direction of safety. After a very short time, you're left alone in the silence, except for the sound of the jungle, faced with the only way out being that track down the side of the hill. But the Emperor will smile on your actions.
I hope at the end of our entire RPG, and it's going through the different characters and what their fate had for them, and it shows Triarch, and it's like he was court-martialed for lying to the pilot and probably executed.
the freeze frame at the end when the little text
and
comes up
it's
to
like
say
him
what's
doing
happening.
the sign off
Yeah.
out the side of the
Him in
Valkyrie.
the court going, I don't know what's happening!
That is very Imperial.
We just put a whole bunch of rounds into the canopy, so we may want to
I hot-foot it.
Yeah, move on.
Take a minute to reload.
I think we just gave away our position.
So getting my bearings, our goal was to head to Camp Longtooth.
Correct. So that's now to your southwest.
Yep.
The edge of the you're on that very western edge of the teeming crater there. So to make your way down the switchback climb will be slightly further west.
Even though we've just made a boatload of noise, I'd go back into field mode, and I want to do like that sort of double finger point stern, like we're moving this direction, sort of towards southwest.
I think you look over and you see Shanada like holding his hands up, trying to imitate you, trying to work out which fingers to put down until he's just got two closed fists.
I thought he was going to
pointed
just end with a gang sign of some sort.
2 thumbs up. Just doing that one.
Well done.
Should we have a quick look around and see if there's anything useful before we...
This is where you found the Vox.
We should take
Yeah,
the
yeah,
box
yeah.
with us.
The Vox is like is
It's a base station
It's a
style
base
radio.
station. That's a good one.
It's plugged into
Are you
something.
challenging me to carry it?
No, I'm just saying that once you unplug it, it won't work.
Yeah.
Right.
You won't realise that.
Especially-
You'll talk on it for days.
You can chew through the power cord and take it with you if you wish, but yeah. It's
All
like
right,
the
so the Vox-
squeaky mobile phone toy I give my dog. It doesn't have a SIM card in it. So
I'd say that we give them some sort of situational report on our intent, but I don't think Command care
I don't think
who the
they
three
care.
of us are.
I think we would be wasting His Majesty's oxygen were we to do that.
They'd tell us to stand by and then move on to another unit.
Yeah. Let's just get out of here.
We made a heap of noise. My ammo's full. I'm ready to step off if you are.
All right. Yeah, quick ammo scoop up. And then,
yep. So you're all back to full. You've
Yep.
got full reloads. You've got full weapons and everything. So
Yep. And I get the trinket that gives us plus 40 to any of our rolls.
oh, that's
So-
fantastic.
Yeah,
Oh, it's
really.
so good. It's not even in the rules.
Wow.
Yeah, very
And it was just in the open on the airfield.
It's the one of the toes of the emperor. It's a holy relic. It just so happens there's 70 of those toes out in the wild. All right, so you make your way back to the edge of the teaming and you clamber up to the top of this switchback climb and you stand on top of this narrow trail and you can see this expanse in front of you. There's directly in front of you, there's loose rocks tumbling down this narrow, sort of almost gravel trail. It's a steep descent, steep cliffs, interlocking ridges. It's going to be down a path and shimmying down a cliff, and it's not a direct route. There's no cut path here. It's just the path you've made fighting your way up. And you reflect, you're reminded of the days and days and days of scrambling up this path, like the Allies taking Monte Cassino, just hundreds of men dying for each foot of land you captured.
But it was going up, and now we're going down.
Oh, it's certain to be no problem at all. We can probably skip the rest of that.
Right,
It'll be
okay.
fine.
Not great on my knees, though.
Yeah, good point.
But you can see further on than that, you can see swamplands, highlands leading into swamps, and off in the distance you can see the river with a bridge crossing it, and you know that's where Firebase Longtooth is. You can see it in the distance, so close and yet so far. So as you start making your way down the switchback climb, you're skittering and shuffling as you make your way down, and it strikes me that you need to tell me who your point man is at this point.
I have a bonus to my perception if we're thinking that I need to detect what's coming. Raised in the Catachan jungles and spending more time out there than I was in schooling. That could be an option.
I have a trained awareness.
Well, we're both well suited, so we could put the big kahuna out in front if you like.
Just for more of an icebreaker type thing. If I'm feeling a bit embarrassed by my performance in the tunnel. Looking to
As
make
if
up.
you feel embarrassment.
I don't think he's got the emotional capacity to
No,
feel embarrassed.
not embarrassment. Upset that I didn't get to kill any orkies.
Well,
Oh, in that case, yeah.
Okay.
yeah.
How about that?
Yeah.
Ta-da!
Thank you, Shannon.
So after a short time of making your way down this, you come across the rotting falls, which is culvert that nature has cut into the edge of the teeming, where filthy brown water is just flowing out. There's it's like stop and start. Sometimes it's choked with chunks of debris and vegetation. You see the occasional corpse going past, chunks of downed aircraft and military equipment. And as you approach, you see that there's a vast expanse of rushing water that you'll need to get across. And dangling, unsecured, is one end of a rope bridge. And the stench, like the roar of water is incredibly loud, but the stench of rotting vegetation is horrendous.
Sounds like a lovely picnic spot. When you say the hanging end of a rope bridge, do you mean one tight end of the rope bridge then it's broken off on the other side?
So it's almost like it's been cut or broken somehow in the middle. It's
Right.
hanging from each side. Looking around, you can see that there is like a very narrow path that would require some skill to climb, going across the cliff face. If you were to go and try and make the other, you could take a rope over and try and reconnect it if you wished, but it would be a difficult climb. And you can see, like I say, you can see a few bodies on either side of this bridge. It's a mess.
Yeah, right.
But this appears to be your only way down. You can't.
I'm going to take a knee here and just try and take in my surroundings and center myself. Can I have a crack at a perception and see if I can pick up on something?
Sure.
I've got a lot of bushcraft skills, and I feel that using the ropes and things around, I might be able to come up with an idea.
Sure. So give me an awareness roll for a start, because you're sort of studying that.
Yeah, cool. I'm trained in it, if that
Yep.
helps. So I've rolled a 62.
It's going to be terrible. Your awareness will be based on your perception there.
Perception is 29.
Right. So would you like to try it again, or are you going to...
I'm not going to waste a fate point on it. It's either I've picked up something on this occasion or I haven't, so nothing's come to me.
Yeah, nothing obvious. There's just, like I say, you can see that the bridge is torn the way it is, but there's nothing obvious that stands out to you about it.
I mean, this obviously river is too big and fast for us to swim across, I'm guessing.
We're going to find out when you step in it.
Being the most agile of us all.
Yeah, you'd have to... There's a longer way round that you'd have to take, but obviously it's going to cost you... It's going to cost you time.
I think we really don't have any options unless you want to travel further up.
Well, the other part is tie rope around someone who then walks around the track
What I was thinking.
to then link up and create the rope bridge on the other side.
I do have
Someone
36
nimble enough.
I do have 36 agility.
Yeah, so it'd be an athletics test. So if any of you got athletics ability...
Yep,
you'd
I've
be
got a
adding
plus 20 to my athletics.
Oh.
I'm considerably athletic. Core muscles. I do a lot of yoga.
that. Sure. So if you want to try that, you can.
So a 42 to start with, plus 20 takes me to 62. Helena lifts the rope from my side
Yep.
of the down bridge, ties it around her waist, double knot,
Yep.
and then looks up at the track, deep breath, and without even consulting with anyone else, just steps off and tries to balance herself as she comes around on the narrow track.
Give me that roll and let's see how it goes.
Yeah, 20.
Excellent. You make your way across the bridge and you use that as a guy wire and you tie up the bridge and you manage to haul both ends back up above water. As you reassemble the bridge, you can have a more detailed look at it if you would like. Examine the bridge again. Look at what's caused it
Yeah,
to
I'll give it a
fail.
go from this
Structural
side.
integrity.
Yep.
Sure. Okay, well, give me another awareness.
001.
Woof. Okay.
Oh, lad.
There we go. So that's a 1. So that's an incredible success. So when you start tying the ropes back together, you become aware that you can see that the ropes have been cut and knotted multiple times. Like they've torn and knotted in all different places. So you can't quite comprehend in your mind why it would be that this bridge appears to have been knocked down and put back up and knocked down and put back up. And as your eyes glance upstream to the base of the sort of the water torrent near you, you can see that there's a net that's strung just beneath the water that's tied together out of scrap pieces that seems to be gathering up a whole bunch of vegetation and detritus and flotsam.
And
And
Jetsam?
jetsam as well. There's some
Thank
jetsam in there
God.
too.
Worried there
George
wouldn't
Jetson?
George Jetsam,
Shanada like.
They have beavers on this planet.
so yeah, it looks to you like this has been deliberately rigged, this net here. What's your thought?
Yeah, it's feeling like it's a trap. I'm too far away and the river's too loud for me to try and communicate. But I'm sensing that the orcs, every time the bridge is reassembled, they're chopping it. And then there's this trap that is set up that is going to collect enough debris. Once it has enough weight, it'll burst, which will all come down and cause havoc to us. Frustratingly for me, I've recreated this bridge, but I can't communicate to the others on the other side that I think it's a bad idea to cross it.
You can. I mean, I'm certainly happy if you want to throw your arms up and give them the international symbol for stop or something like that. They can see you from the edge of the stand of trees where they are.
Perfect. Foolishly, I probably direct this straight at Shanada, and I do the big double arm wave back and forth to get attention, and then one hand up like the stop, forgetting of what happened in the tunnel last week.
Hey, Shanada, come give me a high five, baby.
That's how I read it. Run
Yep.
across this bridge I've just made. Give you
Would
mate
you-
a high five.
Bring me the
Nah, just-
heaviest.
Would you like to roll a willpower to see if you can resist the call of a high five, or are you comfortable just to play it out however you'd like to?
No, well, how long is the bridge roughly? Wide? Is the-
25 meters. Unless there
Standard bridge length
unless
around
there is a
here.
narrative reason why it needs to be longer or shorter.
Well, my run movement's 24 meters.
It's 20 meters.
Helena is waving madly, offering a high five. I've ducked into the bushes for a second just to water the local lemon tree. So this is all happening without my knowledge. I'm not in a position to slow you down, Shanada. If Shanada gets the urge to run across the bridge, I can't stop you.
And Yelena, as you see, as you're waving your arms, you sort of tilt your head down and you see in the banks, washed up into the banks of the river, you can see a collection of large caliber shell casings that are from like rough formed and primitive weapons. You can tell these are from orc long rifles. That embedded in the mud of the bank.
Shanadar doesn't like water. Shanadar wants to stay with little ones. Shanadar wants to get across to the other side.
Shanadar's running?
Shanadar's running.
Okay. So Cole, you see, as you step back out of the bridge, you see Yelena waving her arms and giving the big stop symbol. And are you pointing up at the cliffs now, or are you just still making the stop symbol?
Yep, so I've got Flamer is occupying my master hand and arm. So I just do the double point at my eyes with my fingers whilst looking at you, and then pointing with those same finger eyes straight up towards what I think is a trap, and then releasing, so slung Flamer, I give a T symbol, famously for ambush, and I tap my heel.
We're both Katachani trained. I understand immediately what you're talking about. I look at Shanadar, my stomach is plummeting as I see him pounding along the bridge.
I'm pretty nimble and I'm a small target. No, not really. None of those things.
Cole, do you want to make me just an awareness test and see if you spot these straight away? And you're going to get a plus 20 bonus because
all right, so I'm looking
Yelena's pointing right at where you need to be looking.
Yeah. So I'm looking to get under a 43, and I've rolled a 13. Lucky 13.
Okay, so looking up, you can see instantly the glint of a couple of long rifle scopes, and you can see that there's like a dug-in position up there.
Yeah.
You can't, you can make out movement. You can't tell which orc specifically it is if you recognise him, but there's definitely orcs up there, one or two with long rifles.
Named orcs.
Yes.
Oh no, they're not wearing red shirts either.
Let me consult my orc table. No, there's two orcs up there.
All right, and how far across the bridge is Shanadar?
He's just at the about to step foot onto the edge of the bridge now.
All right, I think I'm yelling, contact upstream.
So Shanadar's just about to set foot on the edge of the bridge, and Cole, obviously you've spotted now the sniper position up there. What are you going to do?
I don't think Shanadar is too far gone for us to stay together. If he's out on the bridge, he's super soft target. So I yell, Shanadar, contact upstream. Direct his attention up there.
Yeah, I guess if there's one thing I am, it's military trained and aware. So I hear that, and it sets off the muscle memory thing, and I contact and stop and spin to look at where he's staying.
Does Shanadar bother to acquire targets or just immediately start shooting into undergrowth?
I think he's probably one to start immediately shooting into undergrowth.
He's an Ogren.
So, Elena, you see, from your perspective, all you see is Shanadar, the noise, the roaring noise of the waterfall.
Hear anything,
all you see is Shanadar just sets foot on the bridge and all of a sudden turns and spins and starts absolutely peppering the wall with fully automatic fire. What's your reaction to that?
Is the stream flowing that the debris would come to me, or the debris will go towards the potential contact?
No, the debris will come straight from the direction of the contact.
Yep.
Essentially, the contacts are 40 meters upstream. Then there's the debris net. Then there's you.
It's a shame. I had a great plan.
Yeah, so it'd be flowing directly to you and carrying you off downstream
Yes.
to your certain death, possible death.
Perfect. So I'm on my side of the river. I can see that he's firing uphill, but I have no idea what at. So my intent now is to...
I'll stop you there because I'm actually pretty comfortable. You know which general direction you're looking in. You've already shown really good awareness seeing this. As soon as the fire starts going that way, I'd say you're going to be able to pick out very quickly this orc prepared position. So I'm quite comfortable that you're looking up. You can pick out their positions now that there's fire going down on them.
Excellent. My intention is to be able to just provide some covering fire so that the others can get across the bridge. I have the benefit that I'm already over and I'm hugging that tree line. What I want to do is move towards the orcs, staying semi-protected from the foliage around me, and then to just unleash a volley of fire in their direction, because it'll be coming from that almost 90-degree angle offset to grab their attention.
Sure. So you move up and you're putting this big plume of fire up on their positions, and foliage, even though it's not quite reaching there, you can see foliage wilting up on the cliffside, and you can see that they are hunkering down already. Shanadar is still sort of slowly walking across the bridge, just firing on full auto. Cole, you're still on that opposite bank. What are you doing?
No, I think I'm taking that very noble sacrifice of Shanadar's, and I'm going to sprint across the bridge.
So Cole, once you get to the other side, I presume you're taking over the fire on the hillside, are you?
I am. My short-range combat shotgun is not really...
It's
mostly decorative.
Sure enough, you make your run, and very quickly you're enveloped by the trees on the far side that puts you out of range of the prepared position there. You continue down, and the track virtually resumes its twisting and declining pathway. As you're coming further down the track, you can see figures in front of you proceeding in the same direction you are, that you're catching up on very quickly. And as you get closer to them, you recognise uniforms of support personnel from different regiments. So they're still a little bit in the good 20 metres in front of you. They haven't noticed you yet. How are you going to deal with seeing them on the path there?
So they've got their backs to us at the moment, and we're approaching on them. Presumably friendlies.
It appears they're human, that's for sure.
Yes. At the moment, they're not orcs. You just can't yell the contact word, the safe contact word. I forget what the exact term for it is.
We could do it
flash thunder, if you will.
We could do it in a way where we have like two of us break track. So one to the left, one to the right, and then there's one left who makes the challenge, and then that way there's support fire if we need.
I mean, they're humans. I don't see the danger, so but better to be safe than sorry. I think two of us breaking track. You guys dive in. I'll take the risk. I'll roll the dice.
I don't know if you want to leave me to do the negotiations.
Yeah.
So I was in front, Yelena. I've spotted them, and immediately, again, without any verbal cues, done the fist raised with my left hand. I've started stepping off to the left and realising that Shanadar isn't catching what's going on. I just single hand shove off to the right of the track so that he's going into the bushes, leaving Cole in the middle of the track.
Kind of tumbles into the bushes giggling as he assumes that this is going to be part of the game.
And I've effectively just pushed us both off the track, leaving that vision straight for Coley to be able to see that there's the regiment members in front of us.
Yep.
Okay.
And I've read your actions exactly as intended. Again, the Katachani training kicking in, so I call out.
Completely taken by surprise, this group spins around, and you can see straight away that it's 4 people, and you can tell they're all non-combatant support staff. 2 of them are siege engineers, so they've done basic, but they're not frontline fighters.
Sounds like an easy win.
One of them is clearly a Medicae, carrying the medical packs and supplies on his back, and the last one is wearing these like ostentatious maroon-coloured robes, scroll work around the collar, and he's wearing like a lovely hat. He's got a big high collar there, and it's all a bit battered and a bit dirty and everything.
Notice if I stole the hat?
I think you might have to be closer, but we can cross that bridge later. You know from your time in the regiments, you can recognise that this is a rank that you very rarely see, but you've heard of and you've seen on board ships before. This is a Imperial Navy Master of Ordnance, and to see him on a planet's surface is surprising, to say the least. And as you get closer, they're instantly relieved. Oh, thank God. Oh, we've got fighters here. Thank the Emperor, even. We've got fighters here to help us. Oh, says, I'm Tor, this is Lamina, we're siege engineers. And the Medicae's like, oh, I'm Rennie, are you wounded? Do you need any help? And meanwhile, the Master of Ordnance stands there with his hands on his hip and his nose in the air and, sort of smoothing imaginary dust off his robe. And he sort of looks at you sneeringly and goes back to peering off the edge of the cliff into the distance. He's clearly waiting for someone to make themselves sort of subservient to him.
I say, ladies and gentlemen, the God Emperor has sent me to care for you in your hour of need, to escort you safely where you need to go. All it will take is for you to patch me up because I'm carrying 4 wounds. So if you could just heal me up real quick, and then I will escort you.
Rennie the Medicae is quite young and instantly is like super impressed. He's like, oh, of course, anything for a hero of the Imperium. Thank you so much. And I see you have a
Labrador, Ogren. Yes.
Yeah, with you. Is it safe?
Oh, he's very friendly.
He's like,
yeah, no.
Can I, if I look in its eyes?
Don't look in its eyes. Don't look at it at all. Pretend it's not there.
Okay.
The only thing that the Ogren really likes is when you patch up my wounds.
And so Rennie instantly it helps you, and you'll find yourself very shortly back on full health because I believe you've only had 4 wounds. So conveniently, he can heal exactly 4 wounds. Oh my God. And they're very pleased as you emerge from the bushes as well, Yelena. Very, very pleased to see you. And you see Shanadar as you approach. You're quite... I imagine you're quite pleased to see new people.
I am.
Yeah.
Shanadar, love. And everyone gets a big hug.
Yeah. And you notice as you approach people, they try and take a half step back, but there's no...
Shanadar continues the game that Ramirez started and pushes
Pushing
Rennie
people
pushes the Master of Ordnance into the bushes.
It would mean the world to me if the naval officer makes a comment about how he had a Valkyrie lined up to transport him off.
And someone commandeered it. Not sure.
Yes.
Funnily enough, as he gets shoved into the bushes, and as he's standing up, recovering himself, he says, "You control your abhuman filth." He looks at you, and he's trying to pick out of Helena and Cole who the one is to speak to, and he sort of ends up splitting the difference, looking at neither of you. He says, "You will listen to me. I am Master of Ordnance Halbast. You have obviously heard of me. Your role, your new mission, as decreed by the Emperor himself, is to escort me to a place of safety where I can assist his exalted navy in glassing this disgusting ruin of a planet to dirt. I was on an inspection tour on a Valkyrie that was shot down, and I've ended up with these support staff. You will see me out of here immediately."
We will see all of us out of here immediately. Great idea, sir. Couldn't be happier to help.
I make it easier for him to decide who to talk to because halfway through his speech, I lose interest and I turn and I spit something out of my teeth into the foliage like I had a seed or something stuck.
Beautiful.
And as you do that, Halbast turns to Cole and he says, "Listen, I want that. You take that woman's name. I want her on the report when we get back. You'll have. I was mentioning the name of the God Emperor when she spat. You'll see that."
Oh yeah. Her name's Dryborough. Yeah. No good.
Well, you'll see when we get back to camp. But listen, you will escort me now. I expect we shall be back shortly. Don't you know there is a bombardment coming down very soon? And I would suggest, if you don't want to discover the wrath of plasma guns and the Exterminatus Protocol, which only I am authorized to carry out, I would suggest we leave.
I have to subtly interject because Ramirez is falling asleep standing up.
Yeah, and there's no way he will continue in this vein. For
Oh,
as long as you let him.
yeah.
You can tell already that.
Naval Ordnance Man.
Shannon walks up.
As a member of the RBTs, I can tell you.
got chocolate.
And
Puts his hand out.
And you see, Halbast is now. He would usually not entertain this, but given that your shoulder height is above the top of his head, you can see that he's sort of rummaging through his pockets, and he finds like a half ration bar and throws it down the path in the hope of you chasing it away.
Which I do.
Says to Cole, "I say this filth needs to be kept away from me. Abhumans are not to be spoken to, as you know."
Terribly sorry to interrupt. Time is of the essence. Let's get going.
Well, I say,
Sorry to interrupt.
I'll make the decisions about when we leave, and I say we should move out. So let's
Great idea.
Let's
Yes,
head
sir.
off.
Yes, sir. Let's do it.
And so you continue your way down the switchback, and a short time of walking down this trail with Tor and Lamina, the two engineers, talking friendly and ingratiating themselves with you, and Rennie being just awestruck at being in your presence, and Halbast aloof, continuing to walk, with his head and shoulders back and his arms crossed behind his back, walking along the path behind you. But you do, to your great satisfaction at the corner of your eye, notice him slip and stumble a few times because of his rigid bearing.
That's the one thing that Ramirez and I can bond over. We sort of share a smirk and a smile every time he stumbles.
I stepped to the side a little at one point and let one of the non-combatant engineers take point without realising.
And I love it. It's probably it's one of the engineers who's just looking around going, "Well, I say the diameter of this tree is fantastic. This would be a really good. We could build a nice bridge out of this. What do you think?" And he realises he's 15 metres in front of everyone, and,
In the middle of an walk
and
encampment.
quickly steps back.
Turns around, everyone's down low, going, shaking their heads wildly, going, no, high five.
That's right. And that's Tor's the high personality one. Lamina's the other one, and Lamina's the one who's been talking to you, Yelena, about the comparison between the flow rate on your flamethrower and the throughput of a Valkyrie fuel tank engine, and it's gone into a very complex discussion. And again, you've just halfway through just veered off, but they don't have the social skills to quite comprehend how to do this. So she's actually continuing the conversation in your absence in the middle of the pack somewhere. So you get to the bottom of this switchback and you see in front of you there is a vast swamp stretching out in all directions. It's foggy. It seems to defy the blazing sun overhead. It's in a shade of its own making. And this is the Helfen Highlands. You spent weeks fighting your way through here, up to your knees in swampy water. It's horrendous. It was an absolute green hell. And even your childhood and your training on Catachan, one of the most dangerous worlds in the Imperium for flora and fauna, hasn't quite prepared you for the horror that was fighting in there against the Orc menace. And you know yourself that this is not the kind of place you cross on foot. It's like trying to cross the Louisiana Bayou on foot. It's just not practical. You're going to have to find your way across. Conveniently, thankfully, as you're looking at the edge of the ever-growing swamp, you can see that the 17th Regiment camp, where you initially crossed and landed, and where you helped establish the beachhead, is there. But you can see that the fortifications there are half constructed, that some of the heavier equipment has been left, and some of it's mid-disassembly and has already been crated up. There's almost no one on the edges of the camp, but as you get closer and closer, the volume and the hubbub starts rising, and you can hear what sounds like voices talking. And Halbast is, "Oh, well, I say, thank you, civilization, we found something here." As you get closer, you see a large group, like must be 150 guardsmen gathered around, and they are all scrabbling in a crowd amongst one central point. Everyone's looking in at one point, and there is yelling and there is screaming. And just as you are moving closer to the edge of this crowd, a single distinctive report of a bolt pistol rings out. And most of the guardsmen sort of either drop to their knees or back away from the central point. And you can see, standing on a slightly raised platform there, is Commissar Vorgar. You recognise him from your previous go, and you can see the body of the victim that he's just put a bullet into. From the evidence you're seeing, it's pretty clear that they've tried to rush him as a group and he's picked a target. You don't know how long he's been there, you don't know how long it's been like this. All you know is that there is one barge anchored to the river behind him, anchored to the dock behind him, and he's the last line of defence between the clamouring guardsmen and the barge, which at the moment has a few wounded and a barge pilot on and nothing else. And as you walk up to him, it seems like a great place to break for this episode of The Adventure. So we'll deal with what happens next time when we come back.
I have no idea what we're going to do.
I have some idea.
Join the rebellion.
He's
Go on
getting
our own.
push kicked into the river.
Thank you for listening. Thanks for being with us. I hope all our players have had fun today.
We have. I have.
Indeed.
Shut it off.
That's your name. Oh, now I get it.
He's rapidly becoming one of my favourites. Look, I do hope you'll come back and join us next episode, where we're going to continue the same adventure. There's a few more adventures to go before they get back to safety, if they make it. If you have enjoyed today's episode, I'd love it if you could leave us a review of the podcast. In-universe reviews would be our absolute favourite, because they're fun and funny, and we'll pick out some of our favourites and read them at the start of each new adventure, new RPG. Most importantly, though, if you want to have a say in what we do, what games we play, if you want to point out some things we're getting horribly wrong or horribly right, let us know in our Discord channel. You'll find a link in the video description or the pod description. You can really shape the future of the podcast, and we'd really love to hear from you. We've got a great community on Discord for all kinds of things, and we'd love to hear from you there. Until next time, I've been Gordon. This has been the guys.
I've been Mike.
I've been Fitz.
I've been Shanadar. Sorry, I've been Wegs.
And we'll catch you next time. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Mike here. You know the goofy pretend ads that you hear midway through these episodes from the four of us? Well, you're able to access the complete filmed table reads of these ads at our channel's Patreon. For as little as $1 a month, you unlock all of the podcast and painting channel perks and exclusives, including, these TV commercials, with bloopers and outtakes as we surprise one another with revealing them. You can head across now to our Patreon from the link in the podcast description and check it out for yourself. Thanks, and I'll see you there.
Flashing Badger.